Happy Tuesday, I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jessica Moyer. Welcome to EverTalk Live for your daily dose of happiness in Hollywood, a little pop culture and positivity on this hashtag Transformation Tuesday.
Yes, indeed. A little chill in the air today, huh?
Oh, it might as well be Chicago. This is the past weekend, it was like 85. We all remembered why we live in Southern California and champagne problems. I'm now sitting here with my blanket, freezing, and it's like 55 degrees.
It's a dope throw, though. I like that throw.
Thank you to our producers.
Andy Waldman looking out.
Oh, always. Well, we're real excited. We have a very special guest today. Good morning, back in the studio.
Good morning.
Hi. We're grateful that you're here on Transformation Tuesday.
So happy to be here.
We want to know, how do you wake up and stay woke? What's your morning routine like?
I start the morning with adaptogens and hot tea, and then a little cuddle with my kid and a little stretching.
I love it. So the adaptogens rolls off your tongue like, you know, Skittles.
Yeah.
What are adaptogens for those folks who don't know?
They're herbs that help the body adapt to stress, and they help your hormones. And of course, you know, hormones are my thing. So always, whatever we can do to support our hormones is something I'm very interested in doing.
Fantastic.
So does that include mushrooms, these adaptogens?
Some of them, some mushrooms can help with blood sugar. Some mushrooms can help with stress. For women in their younger years, I like things like Vitex and maca. Just depends on what you need.
We had a guest on yesterday who told us all about the mushrooms. I guess 90% of all.
Everything we eat has a mushroom.
Unbelievable. I had no idea. These adaptogens, and I feel like I need to get a crash course from our guest today.
Absolutely. We will learn to love it. Well, thanks so much for being here. We look forward to discussing flow living later in the show.
Awesome. Adaptogens. Boy, it's incredible where we are in the world today, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Now I feel guilty if I have a coffee without some sort of superfood in it.
So true.
And I had this moment where I realized I must be so LA.
Yeah.
What is
I know.
I had no idea how Hollywood I was until I was like, now do I add in the adaptogen, the superfood, the maca, or the collagen to my coffee today? Who am I?
I mean, it's so true. When you start, you know, when you're having $15 protein shakes, it's like, are you kidding? Where do we live? I mean, my goodness, my friends in Pittsburgh are like, are you crazy?
Are you crazy? Yeah, well, we are it's interesting. I don't think we're crazy as much as we are wholly dedicated to wellness.
This is true.
And it takes so much to do what we do, to live the hours that we do, to show up, to shine, to have cameras on our face. We got to do everything we can.
Oh my gosh, totally, including taking naps at the stoplights. That was like my thing today. I was like,
oh my God, Rob, dangerous.
Like Park. Oh, trust me, you get a full 4 minutes at least probably at the stoplight sometimes. Yeah.
Rob is asleep at the wheel. His mom
literally
is texting. I don't think this is a good idea, Rob. You now have to talk to your mother from A to B every time you get in the car. And if she's not available, call me, because I don't agree with you.
Yeah, I don't really sleep. It's funny because growing up, we'd always laugh because my sister would sometimes sleep with her eyes open. It was incredible. She would really be sleeping, her eyes would be partly way open. We're like, oh my gosh.
Stop! I've never heard of that.
I know. She still was beautiful always, but I was impressed by that and always thought that's something I should learn. I want to sleep with my eyes open. That'd be scary, wouldn't it?
I'll pass on that. So we have a very special gift today. Special thanks of Chef Serena Poon, who's got, of course, her show here on EverTalk TV.
What's that?
She dropped off a box that is the perfect gift for the man in your life.
I gotta see what's inside.
So you are the man in my life, Rob.
Oh my goodness, right? Let's see what's inside. This is amazing. First of all, I love the packaging and the boxing. Wow.
Right? Organic candle.
It's a pretty dope candle.
You know what I love about her company is that everything not only is thoughtful, but it's intentional. Everything is blessed. Do you smell how good that is?
Oh man, I can smell it from here. That's amazing, actually. It really is.
Right? A beautiful scarf for the man in your life. And then, of course, candle wick trimmers, because that's a thing.
It is a thing. Apparently it saves the candle, right?
I don't know.
I guess that's the thing.
But also, look at this.
Yeah, wow.
This is an electric match. It looks like a vape pen.
It does look like a vape pen. That's exactly right.
It's like the chic way to light your candles now. I am a match girl myself.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you don't want these pink sparkly matches,
please keep the matches.
I will keep these.
Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you,
It's
Chef
so
Serena.
Awesome, Serena. We appreciate that. Love Serena here.
Oh, we do love Serena. So I collect matches.
Do you really? I did not know that.
I do, yes. That's my thing. You know how some people have the little spoons?
Yeah.
Well, different places I go, if it's a memorable experience, a memorable restaurant, I like to keep the matchbook.
You're kidding. So when did you start this?
Well, I've always done it, and it was sparked by my Aunt Polly, who was single all her life, and one of the hardest working women I knew. She was born in 1912, was one of the first women working at Steelcase, died working at Steelcase, and she was a traveler.
Wow.
And she lived her own life and went all over the world with her girlfriends, and she collected matchbooks. And she kept them in a bowl in our family cottage, and for me, those told a story. And I thought, someday I want to have these matches that tell the story of where I went and who I ate
That's
with.
incredible, Jess. I love that. Each match, I guess, a match has like a story behind it.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Wow. So you've been doing that for a while.
I have been, and I need to be more intentional about it. But if any of our viewers are watching and you collect matchbooks, I would love to know where your favorite matches are from.
Right. Super cool. I trying to think like when I started collecting things. Were there other things you collected as a kid? Or was it mostly matchbooks?
I started collecting crystals. No, crystals.
Crystals?
Actually.
Did you?
I didn't call them crystals. I call them rocks.
Yeah. I collected rocks. Collected rocks.
But mine were crystals. Like I didn't really want a rock. I wanted something that had been cut open and had the shiny crystals inside. I really liked that. Porcelain dolls. I had a moment or two with porcelain dolls for a while.
I love it. Some things never change with the crystals, huh? That's super cool. I love that. Shiny objects. I did the rocks for a minute, like a hot minute, and then I did a leaf collection for school. That was kind of interesting.
Leaf collecting?
I know, kind of weird. And then I did, I guess I did baseball cards and basketball cards. Our publicist friend Steve Allen gave me 2 of those Kobe Bryant cards, which I freaking love. And I don't remember collecting a whole lot besides that. I think that was pretty much it.
Do you still collect anything besides books now, Rob?
No, I want to collect watches. I love watches, but they're very expensive, and I want to be careful, just spending money on watches. But I'd say, not really. I'm not blazers. Not anything really that's like, oh, that interesting or fascinating. Nothing.
It is interesting and fascinating, though, because for both of us, fashion is very important. I often say #fashion speaks, right? And it's not because we're materialistic, but it is a very important form of self-expression for us.
You know what I did stop collecting? Emotions. I stopped collecting emotions at some point. I will tell you that though, because I used to collect them. It was like a thing. I really, literally would like stuff them inside and collect emotions. So that's one thing I've stopped collecting.
Oh wow, I'm still doing that. Right? I'm just stuffing them all right. And how many can I have?
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. That's one of the reasons. When I was like, doing that show for like a couple years, I had to get up on the dating apps, and I was never really into like dating apps, just because I like meeting people in person, and I'm not all that tech savvy, right? But I noticed something strange about the dating apps is like I felt like I was collecting people. Do you ever feel that way with the dating apps?
Yeah,
or no,
there's
is it just
a term
me?
for it,
is there?
Yeah.
It is, huh?
It's called whelming. Did you know about this?
I did not know this.
Yeah, it's called whelming. When you collect so many matches and so many messages that you're like, ugh, I'm almost overwhelmed.
Oh.
So you're whelming. You just collect them, and you never really do anything about them. Send a message or two, but like, nothing ever comes from it. So I'm totally whelming.
Yeah, I totally get that. Oh, that's something I did used to collect clothes, and I would just like buy things and I'd put them up on the shelf, but I would never wear them. Tag still on for years. It's really weird.
Well, I've never had that problem.
Yeah, wear it right away, huh? Yes. Hence Rent the Runway.
Yeah. I'm just whelming over here.
Awesome.
Okay, so what can we do with these emotions that we're collecting?
The interesting thing is there's a whole body of research around like faking moods and like faking emotions, right? And so essentially what happens is there's a body of research called like mind-body dissonance and mind-body congruence. So the idea essentially is that sometimes, some days you have just a bad day.
Right.
But you try to fake it on the outside, right? So there's that Ariana Grande song, like Fake Smile, I think. It's a great song, right?
I love a good Ariana Grande. I pulled up the lyrics for reference.
Did you?
I can't fake another smile. I can't fake like I'm all right. I won't say I'm feeling fine after what I've been through. I can't lie.
There you go, right?
F a fake smile.
There you go. See, so the whole point is like, there's one sort of arm of the sort of body research that basically suggests that if you fake a smile, or if you try to put on a happy face, that actually does improve your mood, right, somewhat. And over a period of time, it can like actually enhance your mood quite a bit. But then there's an entire other body of research that's basically found that when you do that, and you don't actually try to do anything underneath those feelings, but you just put on the fake smile on the outside while you still continue to feel like really crappy on the inside, that you actually cause yourself, of course, more stress. You exhaust yourself, and also it leads to like conspiracy thinking and also superstitious thinking.
What is conspiracy?
So it makes your life worse and worse.
Thinking?
Yeah, so it's basically believing, kind of being paranoid about things and thinking that, somebody's out to get you, or there are entities that are out to get you in ways that don't really match or line up with objective circumstances or conditions, right? So you just become a lot less sort of trusting, and to a large extent, a lot less trustworthy as well. So the entire point of all of this is that, you want to occasionally, and you might have to occasionally put on a fake smile. We're in entertainment, so sometimes we've got to do that. That being said, there are like tips and tools and techniques for actually learning to be happier, or to be more peaceful, or to be more loving, or to be more confident. And so you want to take both approaches. Use an outside-in approach, where you maybe put on the happy smile or the happy face for a little while. But if you don't actually do deeper work, where you learn to actually become happier based on real, like authentic emotions, you just end up causing yourself more problems over time.
You know, that's a really interesting thing, because when I'm experiencing emotion maybe that I don't want to experience, right? Whether it's sadness or anger or depression or anxiety, I don't want to associate myself with those feelings at all. So I stuff them and I don't experience them, rather than like just saying, okay, this too shall pass. Right now I'm mad. Right now I'm anxious.
Yes.
Experiencing those feelings and letting them go, not so good at that.
Yeah. Well, I think most people aren't, Jez. I mean, when are we ever taught to really deal with emotions? We're not. We're not really taught coping mechanisms. I mean, grade school, you're taught everything but how to actually emotionally regulate. You're taught everything but how to think in increasingly positive or productive ways. You're not taught any of these things, and so we end up being, 21 or 22 years old, and the next thing you know, you're feeling like you're depressed, or you're suicidal, or you're anxious all day, or you're stressed all day, or you're full of insecurity and doubt. And how could we learn any other way to do things, right? The great thing is there are, scientists out there, philosophers, there are spiritual teachers that basically teach all these things, because maybe they've been through it like you and I, and so they put out their books, maybe a great book like Happiness from the Inside Out, or
Rob Mack's book.
But there are great resources out there that exist for people, and there are people that have committed their entire lives to helping people just feel better about life. I mean, because life is short and it's long, and you want to enjoy it, right?
Amen. That's why I'm glad I've got you as a sidekick.
Likewise, Jez. Likewise, Jez. You make my days and weeks so much happier.
Oh,
So
cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Stay tuned for EverTalk Live. We're talking flow living when we return. And I'm Jessamine Moyer. This is EverTalk Live, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. in the Ever Media Studios for a little Hollywood and happiness, positivity, and pop culture on Apple TV and Roku via the EverTalk app, and of course streaming live on all social.
I've got so much love in my life, and then I get to do this with you every single day. I mean, it's incredible.
If you have a dream, do not let anything stop you.
You can have all the money or all the success in the world, but if you don't have peace, it's all worthless, really, right?
Happiness from the inside out. Please be sure, if you haven't read this book,
Sweet.
you've got to. I
important to
love
remember.
what we do.
I do too, Jez.
Miracles. I'd like just my life to be an example that miracles exist. I am just so grateful that we get to be a part of this journey together, Rob, whether it's 4 a.m. texting up peanut butter and jellies, or coming to you live Monday through Friday every 9 a.m. You know when you're going to see that, Eddie?
Yes.
When we're holding it in our own hands,
that's
Rob,
right.
for Best Digital Daytime Talk Show.
What makes people lucky, like actually lucky, is that they believe they're lucky.
Thank you for being my mentor, Rob.
Likewise.
He didn't even know it.
True. Yeah.
I'm out all the time. I'm everywhere. I'm drinking my wine. I'm doing the show. I'm stepping and repeating on some kind of red carpet. I had a little too much. I said, one drink Jeslyn. One drink Jeslyn. 2 tequila Jeslyn. 2 tequila Jeslyn.
1 drink Jez.
Is this 1 drink Jeslyn? I hope you're proud, Rob.
I'm very
reading
proud
a
of you,
book.
actually. I don't know how you have the hair is killing it today.
Oh, thank
Are
you.
you feeling-
Clearly, we have no fun around here. It's a thing. The thought of the day: light, love, and magic. Oh, I do it fun. It was wild. Absolutely. Oh my God. Do you know we're still on live, Rob? Right now.
You gotta be kidding.
Talking to my angels.
That's hilarious. That's-
love what you do, you don't work a day in your life, right? I absolutely love what I do.
Yeah,
we couldn't do what we do without the support of you watching. Thank you for sharing, for DMing, for commenting, for continuing to support us as we grow and scale our vision, for the people in the studio and their friends and families for having our backs. We're so grateful.
That's right. And I'm most deeply and genuinely grateful for you. Truly I am, Jez. It's just a pleasure every day to get to connect with you and work with you. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you. I'm so grateful for you. We love you, Rob Mack. There isn't a man or woman who hasn't met you and said you're the best dressed person in Los Angeles and the happiest guy we know. It's an honor to be able to do this show with you.
Appreciate that.
podcast. We're just busy gabbing over here. Welcome back to EverTalk Live. We're really excited to welcome Elisa Vitti to the show. And we're talking flow living, but beyond that, you've even developed the infradian rhythm, right?
Well, I haven't developed it, but I'm sharing it with the world.
Okay, share it with us.
Share the world.
Today.
So, yes, women have this very important second biological rhythm called the infradian rhythm. And we all know about the circadian rhythm, right? Some of you who are watching might be wearing your blue light blocking glasses. We know that it's important to have a regular and consistent bedtime and wake up time, ideally like when the sun is rising, you're waking up. When the sun is going down, you're sleeping.
Rob has mastered that.
I'm there on that.
And it's important. And we know that it's really detrimental when we do the opposite of that, right? The famous nurses study back in the 90s really determined that if you disrupt your circadian rhythm, it's going to lead to short-term disease states and long-term increase your risk for the 4 big diseases of inflammation: diabetes, heart disease, cancer, dementia. So I was asking myself a question, I'm the Femtech founder of Flow Living, and I have been helping women with period issues for about 20 years. And I've been sort of asking myself a question over the past 5 years, which is, we've had this growth in wellness content, right? Articles, books, media sites, et cetera, that are really helping us understand how to take better care of ourselves. But why is it that with that geometric growth in content, women are getting sicker than they have been historically, right? From a hormonal point of view, almost 50% of women are struggling with hormone and autoimmune issues. And why is it when there's wellness everywhere, women are struggling?
Is that global, national?
National.
National.
Why? And compare it to men, not on the same, galaxy as problem-wise. So I wanted to dig into that, and really figure out, well, what is going on here? What is that root cause? And it turns out there are 2 things at play. The first is that women and their infradian rhythm is being ignored in medical, fitness, and nutrition research. So women in their younger years are being left out of this research altogether. And that's a problem because then, you're told like, oh, intermittent fasting or keto or high intensity interval training, these are the gold standards of what you should be doing to take care of yourself.
Yeah, and you just feel worse.
Exactly, and that led me to sort of the second thing, which was why is that? And it's because we're living in a way, we're eating, exercising, and living in a way that is disrupting our infradian rhythm as women. So you might ask, well, what is the infradian rhythm, right? So the circadian rhythm we experience over the course of 24 hours. The infradian rhythm we experience over the course of a month. And so women experience that in their monthly cycle. But it affects way more than just your period. It affects your brain, your immune system, your microbiome, your stress response system, and your reproductive system. So this is the explanation as to why women have all of these combinations of problems: brain fog, moodiness, weight issues, skin issues, fatigue, stress, anxiety, depression, and hormone issues, right? And autoimmune issues. And it is the unifying factor is that we are actively disrupting our infradian rhythm without realizing it. And so once I figured that out and answered this big question, I thought there was enough to warrant writing another book.
Yes.
So
what can we do about that?
So I created a solution for that, and it's called the cycle syncing method, because how do we support the infradian rhythm when it's affecting all these 6 systems of the body? Will we be just chasing our tail around all day? No, it's much easier than that. So essentially, I've broken down the infradian rhythm into these 4 phases, so 4 weeks out of your month, and you simply change what you're eating each of these 4 weeks, change the focus of your food, you change the intensity of your workout, and I'll explain why in a minute just because this one's a really fun story. And then you change what you're focusing on because your brain chemistry changes by 25% over the course of the month. This was discovered in 1996 by Dr. Catherine Woolley at Northwestern University. The female brain in her reproductive years changes by 25% over the course of the month, which means your brain is being stimulated hormonally in unique ways that give you extra strengths in certain categories as you go across the month.
Or make you feel extra crazy.
That is a piece of mythology that we have to do away with. That comes from our lack of understanding about how our operating system works. But you're not crazy, you're not hormonal, everybody's hormonal. You're hormonal, I'm hormonal, dogs, cats, children, old people. You know who's not hormonal? Dead people. Because actually the process of aging is making less and less hormones as you age. Hormones are what keep you going. They help your organs communicate with each other. They're a good thing. This whole culture of like, oh, you're hormonal being a bad thing is based on bad science that this book really sheds a lot of light on. So it's exciting to be able to really offer this brand new solution, because a couple of years ago in my practice, maybe a decade ago, women were trying to get fit by training for triathlons. This was like the trend in the fitness culture. And so women would come to me after training for several months and competing, and they were, doing all of this cardio and biking and, crazy things. And they would come very frustrated, and they would say, well, why is it that I've gained 20 pounds? And I said, you're disrupting your infradian rhythm. So here, did you know, in the first half of your cycle, the first 2 weeks, the follicular and the ovulatory phase, your metabolism is slower and your cortisol levels are lower. If you do cardio, high intensity interval training, and you eat fewer calories, you're going to optimize your metabolism. You're going to burn more stored fat. You're going to build more lean muscle. This is a good thing. But if you do that same thing, reduce calories and do high intensity cardio in the second half of the cycle, the luteal and the menstrual phases, because you have a faster metabolism and you have elevated cortisol levels more naturally at rest, you're going to, wait for it, turn on fat storage and turn on muscle wasting.
Stop!
So you go kind of all in.
So basically, at best, at the end of the month, if you just do it the same way every day, at the end of the month, you're going to, at best, have no change. At worst, you're going to put weight on, and you're going to feel frustrated because everybody's telling you to just do it the same way every day, but you cannot apply the same approach to a system that is dynamic. Men have a different hormonal biological rhythm. It follows the circadian pattern. So when you go to sleep, you make all your testosterone while you're sleeping, and you wake up with it in the morning. Most men are aware of it when they wake up with it in the morning, all of this testosterone and this cortisol. And you're supposed to have that power morning every morning, get up as early as you can, do in high intensity interval cardio training, build your lean muscle, and front load as much of your productive work, your deep work, in the morning. Because around 3 o'clock, your testosterone and your cortisol basically hit their lowest point, and you're done for the day. This is why biohacking is so popular among men, because you can use upgraded coffee, nootropics, and other supplements to help extend your mental focus and your physical stamina for longer in the afternoon. But it is the same Groundhog Day, rinse and repeat, every 24 hours. It is not at all that way for women. It's a month process of changing your energy.
And it changed weeks to week.
Week to week, four patterns, 4 different changes. It's so easy once you get started. You just change what you're eating, change how you're working out, and then you just, like men, they front load all their work in the morning. You're going to organize your work and your priorities across the month in different levels of priority.
It's so interesting because essentially women have been fighting themselves because our mood's changing, our mind is changing, and we're just getting madder and madder saying, hey body, I'm doing exactly what I'm meant to be doing. I haven't had one cheat day. I've been keto, I've been working out, and you're not responding.
That's right. And I think we have 2 reactions. One is that anger and frustration where you feel like you're at war with yourself.
Yes.
And the other one is that inner criticism, right? Where you're blaming yourself, you're downing on yourself about, oh, it must be me, I must not be able to commit, or I'm not disciplined enough, or I'm lazy, or why can't I do that power morning? Well, you should not do that power morning. If you were to wake up extra early, first of all, the female brain is more complex, and it requires 20 minutes precisely more sleep every day compared to men. But if you are doing that early morning wake up in the second half of your cycle, you're actually elevating cortisol levels for the rest of the entire day, disrupting your metabolism, your insulin, your hormones for the whole day. So it's actually better for you not to do a power morning in the same way as men, to really structure. I have 4 different power mornings, so it just changes based on where I'm in the infradian rhythm. I think the future of biohacking and the future of wellness, the future of nutrition and fitness is biological rhythm specific. Because if we're not factoring in our biological rhythm, then we're working against all of these systems of the body, and they will all perform suboptimally, and we're not going to get the results that you want, whether that be in your fitness or your life.
Just fascinating. So what do your 4 power mornings look like?
Oh, it depends. So in the first half of my cycle, I'll do earlier mornings, I'll do more cardio, I'll do that in the earlier part of the day because that feels good and it feels effortless. In the second half of the cycle, I don't do any cardio, any high intensity interval training. I do strength training, but I do it either midday or mid-afternoon, and the mornings are more a time for stretching and meditation and more of a reflective moment before I start my day, so I can really take a breath and plan and not jack up my cortisol by just rushing into the day. So I really use that time to reflect and settle and center.
So how does this change and evolve as a woman ages?
So you have an active infradian rhythm from puberty to your last period, and then once your in your postmenopausal, you no longer have an active infradian rhythm. So you want to take advantage of it while you have it for those 4 decades, because it just offers you such an advantage, because you can really capitalize on your metabolism. For example, I'm someone who used to be 50 pounds heavier because of my hormonal issues. I had PCOS in my teens and 20s, and I never lost that weight by doing the standard stuff. I tried before I understood how to work with my body and my hormones. I tried, counting calories and working out hard every day, and it wasn't until I started working with my biology. Instead of fighting the battle of the bulge, I won the game of my biology, right? And that is really what unlocks a person's health, is really going with the flow, which is why I call the book In the Flow, because it's so much easier. Instead of pushing and forcing and fighting all the time, we should really find our flow and stay in it as much as possible. And I'm taking a cue from the guys. Guys do this all the time, right? You have, whether it's something that you're aware of or not, men have an appreciation for catering to their biology, right? Think about corporate culture. It's organized around that male hormonal pattern to be up early and do things, get your work done in the morning, and then do happy hour networking in the late afternoon when that works for their biological rhythm. We should do the same, right? Because it really helps. This is, again, going back to that question, why are so many more women sick hormonally compared to men? It's because men are not living, exercising, and eating in a way that is disrupting their hormonal biological rhythm, but we are. And it's way overdue for us to start really living in the flow.
So what changes can we make to our diets then on a week-to-week basis?
So in the follicular phase, in that the first week after your period is over, you want to start eating foods that help rebuild the gut, like fermented foods. You want to eat lighter grains, lighter proteins. Again, you can do less calories at this time because your metabolism is naturally slower. You don't need as much. In the ovulatory phase, because you have this huge spike in estrogen, which, by the way, also stimulates the social and verbal centers of your brain, so it's really great to plan all your social activities, networking, go on dates, this is the time to use that to your advantage. This is the time, because of all that estrogen, you need help to break that estrogen down. If you're struggling with those mid-cycle breakouts, that's a sign that you're not processing your estrogen effectively through the liver. So you're gonna eat as much raw food as possible. Smoothies, salads, juices, this is the week to do it. But this is the only week to do it. Don't do it in any other phase. When you get to the luteal phase, you need 237 precise more calories than you do at any other time. You have to eat more complex carbohydrates because your metabolism speeds up. Your body is doing a tremendous amount of actually physical things inside your body, building the lining of the uterus, doing all sorts of things with building lots of hormones. You need more calories, but you need the right kind. So you need slow burning complex carbohydrates like brown rice and legumes, and then you need lots of cruciferous cooked vegetables to help you flush both the progesterone and the estrogen that you're making. And then when you get to the menstrual phase, you want to really focus in on good quality animal proteins that are going to help remineralize and build the body after all of the bleeding, and other vegetables like seaweed and mushrooms and miso that's going to just really help, again, remineralize and rebalance the body. Doing this over the month helps keep your blood sugar stable, which is a critical factor in supporting your endocrine system and your infradian rhythm. It's going to keep your energy balanced so you don't ever have this sort of feeling exhausted and burnt out. And it's going to prevent you from having PMS, which is a hormonal imbalance that you can completely eat your way out of by eating this way.
I'd be happy to hear that.
Yes, that is thrilling. I mean, it's just, I'm really shocked we haven't had a better GPS, if you will, on navigating these rhythms of our own bodies.
Absolutely.
Chronobiology is a relatively young science within the biological field, but it's one that I've been passionate about for 20 years, and it's how I have been able to help so many women through Flow Living, which is our virtual menstrual health center. We take care of women all over the world with period issues like PCOS, fibroids, endometriosis, PMS. And this new, and that's sort of the Flow protocol and helping you balance that naturally. This new book, In the Flow, is really about helping every woman just take full advantage of this inner biological rhythm that we have never heard about before, right? we've not talked about before, we don't have an education about how our operating system works, so that you can really start to thrive and finally feel good. Because I'm just tired of women not feeling good. Like really, everywhere I go, it's just, I'm tired, I'm burnt out, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed, I have these extra pounds I can't seem to get rid of no matter what I do. And women feel badly about themselves because they're frustrated. And we're frustrated because we have been missing this key piece of science, which is this infradian biological rhythm, and it just unlocks absolutely everything for you.
So question, it's so fascinating to me. This science, of course, benefits all women, men too.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder, are there, you know, areas of the world where there's a greater appreciation or attunement with the science intuitively, right? Where they're already sort of, they didn't get out of alignment in the way that we maybe did in the States here, because clearly, you know.
I wonder. I mean, I think that it's not just the United States where we're out of alignment. I mean, it's every industrialized nation. But I mean, certainly it's likely or reasonable to imagine that centuries ago, before the advent of electricity, we were all intuitively living more in synchrony with biological rhythms, because we were forced to sort of be up and with the sun and sleeping in the dark, and that I'm sure had an effect on both men and women. But it's hard to guess because we don't have any data.
So fascinating.
I cannot wait to read this book.
It changes everything. It changes everything.
This conversation has changed everything.
You can put an end to dieting, you can work out less and get more fit, and you can make work, career, motherhood more sustainable. And of course, we didn't even talk about the fact that 60% of women are sexually unsatisfied, and that has to do with the fact that we don't even know how our infradian rhythm affects our sexual response. It doesn't have to be hit or miss. Pleasure does not have to be hit or miss. You can architect a peak flow state in any area of your life if you understand the science of your biological rhythm.
I bow down to you. That is incredible. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow you, and of course get more information.
You can get the book at intheflowbook.com, and that's of course flow without a W, because flow. And then you can follow me on Instagram at flowliving and at elisa.vidi.
Thank you so much, Elisa.
Thank you.
Thanks
really
for having
appreciate
me.
You. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on EverTalk Live.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to EverTalk Live, and this happy Tuesday. My goodness, I learned so much, and I'm just blown away, right?
I am honestly blown away by that, and I'm so grateful because I think we need to have a more open conversation about how hormones are affecting both men and women. Instead of fighting ourselves and our bodies and our minds, really embracing our biological makeup and making it work for us.
Totally. I mean, it's so frustrating on one hand, so inspiring on the other. I mean, the opportunity that exists for improving, you know, not just psychologically and emotionally how we feel, but of course physically and physiologically and biologically. It's fascinating. And it is frustrating too, because to spend so much time, energy, and effort trying to get a result that actually backfires, right? All that energy and effort is just wasted energy and effort.
Completely.
Yeah.
I mean, I spent like a year in the gym working out super early in the mornings and like going every day. And honestly, I just felt worse about myself.
Yeah.
Put on weight, my skin freaked out. I was exhausted. It didn't work for me.
Yeah. Well, you look great as ever.
Oh, well, thank you. But
like,
honestly, it's been a real struggle for
Yeah.
me. And it is a struggle for so many men and women.
I know, another book that I've got to add to my list of books to read. I mean, my goodness, it is always interesting. And of course, I love and have such an appreciation for science, but I didn't know anything about this new field of science, so I've got to check it out.
No, I'm grateful we can know all of this. Please be sure to tune in. We've got a great show planned tomorrow on EverTalk Live. Of course, like, share, comment, follow along at evertalktv.com.
That's right. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
You're up.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Jess.
Have a great day on purpose.
There we go,
Happy
Jazz.
Tuesday.